Hi, welcome to the Michelle's channel. Today I will read the story for you that is come from the book The Storytellers, from TED speakers to business legends. Secret: why some ideas catch on and others don't. The first story is Change Your Story, Change Your Life. A boy grows up poor, raised by a single mother who struggled with alcoholism and is wrote the violence. He finds fame and fortune and becomes a millionaire in his 20s. The good times end and he goes broke. He is forced to live in the tiny studio apartment, washing his dishes in the bathtub. The man regains his fortune and then some. Today, he works with royalty for the princely retainer of 1 million a year. He advises kings and queens, presidents and prime ministers, celebrities, and business leaders. He has stayed at that tiny apartment for a 300-acre resort on the north side of Fiji. If you haven't guessed by now, the story's protagonist is motivational guru Tony Robbins. At 6 foot 7 inches, Robbins is a big man with a big mission. He calls himself a hunter of human happiness. He's also one of the most successful public speakers of our time. Robbins' TED talk has garnered more than 14 million views, making it one of the top 10 talks in the TED history. He brings energy and passions to his Herculean 50-hour seminars, which have been attended by the combined 4 million people. Another 50 million people have purchased his books and audios. At the age of 55, Robbins is a motivational powerhouse, but he wasn't born that way. It was a single conversation that set Robbins on his quest for success. Robbins has written a smart article on his high school yearbook when he got the opportunity to interview legendary sports anchor Howard Cosell. He asked Cosell what it takes to be a successful sports announcer. Cosell responded, "You have to learn to understand the art of communication. Develop it in such a way that it will capture the attention of the greatest number of people." Robbins took the advice and acted on it. At the urging of the teacher, he ran for student body president. Few people gave him a chance to win, but over one well-crafted speech to the students' body brought Robbins ahead for the competition. Robbins' high school classmate, Julie Fallinger, was there when Robbins took the podium. He spoke to the heart, she recalls. He told the personal story about himself, about his struggle growing up. It was very touching. It was very compelling. It was inspirational. He was elected student body president because of it. When Robbins was 11 years old, his family didn't have enough money to buy a Thanksgiving meal, and stranger knocked on the family's door and left groceries. Robbins never forgot the act of kindness and its influence the charities he eventually started. One important to the topic of storytelling, Robbins soon realized that his sharing his personal pain, he could make a strong emotional connection with his listeners, many of whom at Los Angeles Glendora High School in 1977 shared the same socioeconomic background. In that moment, Robbins learned the fundamental lessons that separates the superlative achievers from everyone else. People who have experienced pain, poverty, struggle, and despair. And many of the storytellers in this book have experienced it all, are only empowered by their experience when they develop the courage to embrace the backstory, learn from their failures, and share a lesson of struggle with others. 2. The storyteller's tools. It always says, I always say, change your story, change your life, because whatever your story will become the shaper of your life. Robbins says, the problem. Robbins believes that some people are addicted to reliving their story of pain until it becomes a mental prison, preventing them from fulfilling their potential. Everybody has parts of their life that shape the way they look at today and how they behave today. Everyone has a backstory. They have multiple backstories. The question is, which one is running you now? Robbins has consulted and interviewed the most successful people of our time: Bill Clinton, Nelson Mandela, Mark Benioff, and countless others. In his 30 years career of studying personal growth and development, Robbins had discovered that the most successful people share a backstory of struggle and it's the hunger to write a new story that drives them to overcome their limited circumstances. If you ask what's the difference in human being in the way they perform, it's not intelligence or ability, said Robbins. Almost anyone we know who has done something they're proud of in their life or they feel good about in their life had to get through the obstacles, their own limiting stories. They had to find something they wanted more. The hunger often comes from a story, frustration, or pain or desire. Finding that touchstone and ingredient, it is how you can take someone who is not driven and hungry and really help them to change their life. Robbins taps into his hunger story to drive himself and to motivate others. A Google search for Tony Robbins plus 400 square foot apartment will return more than 250,000 links. The story is common knowledge because Robbins doesn't hide from it. He embraces it and uses the pain he felt when he didn't have food to eat or a roof over his head to drive him forward. He also used the story to connect with his audience. Success leaves clues, and often those clues are right before your eyes. People simply want to know that it's possible for them to live in a better life. Through his story, Robbins provides a living role model. If he cannot do it, so I can, he said to themselves. If he can do it, so can I, they say to themselves. Robbins is a close friend of actor Sylvester Stallone, who has a similar story of struggle. When Stallone wrote the script for Rocky, producer picked up to $350,000 for the rest of the script, with the caveat that Stallone, whom they didn't see as a leading man, not play the lead. Stallone, who has $100 in his checkbook at the time, said no. It's my story, he said. He finally negotiated a deal to play the lead for $25,000 and cut off the received Rocky grosses $200 million. Stallone refused to sell the script as long as another actor played the title character because the story of the boxer was a metaphor for his personal life story. The dramatic arc. A Hollywood movie producer once told me that the story of Rocky is one of the greatest films ever made because it has an irresistible dramatic arc. An skilled movie writer creates a character you want to root for, and Rocky Balboa was a very embodiment of this kind of character. The story is divided into 3 parts. The first part of the film's Rocky backstory, the struggle he must experience on his road of redemption. Rocky isn't just down on his luck. He's a small-time boxer living in a dark, grimy apartment. He earns his living breaking thumbs for a loan shark. In the middle section of the movie, we are introduced to the movie emotional hook. Through a quirk of fate, Rocky Balboa gets a once-in-a-lifetime chance to fight the world champion, Apollo Creed. He trains hard, if unconventionally, punching slices of beef instead of punching bags and running up the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Accompanied by Bill Conti versus musical score. By the time audience reaches the third part of the story, the fight and resolution, they are emotionally invested in seeing Rocky reach his goal, which, by the way, is not to win the fight. He just wants to go the distance. He succeeds, and as he embraced Andy Rand, who stood by his side, it's nearly impossible for moviegoers to stay in their seats. They stand up and cheer for the fictional character because they have been transported into his life and see something of themselves in his struggle. If he can do it, I can too. The first rule of emotional movie making is to create scenes early in the film that put the hero's life into perspective. Audiences need to build a relationship with the character they like and whose struggle they recognize. Otherwise, they don't care about the resolution. Just as great movies have dramatic arcs that take the audience on a journey through struggle and redemption, so to do most successful storytellers on the business stage, they struggle, find strength in their struggle, and ultimately success or redemption. The greater the art, the better the story, and the more likely it is to ignite the passion of an audience. In every public seminar, Tony Robbins tells the story of his early struggle because the art makes people emotionally invested in the outcome. The more dramatic, the more likely it is to ignite the passions of your audience. Some people in the audience may have experienced grinding poverty, as Robbins did. Some who were brought up middle or upper class may have experienced the pain of the trouble parents or an event that left them demoralized and disillusioned. They are invested in his story because it's become their story. Nearly every person in this book has faced a significant personal challenge or struggle in their life and has overcome the struggle in part through communicating it and its lessons of empowerment. But make no mistake, the story of struggle they share with the world is more impactful because they reframe it and embrace it themselves. They have all experienced seminal events in our lives. In some cases, like Tony Robbins, its experience of grinding poverty. But for you, it might be something completely different, such as being turned down by your first try college or being passed over for a job. You can embrace the events and use it as a growth experience, or allow the experience to run you, usually into the crowd. Your potential is not rooted in your backstory. It's formed by how you interpret your backstory. The storyteller secret. Stories have the power to shape your lives and the lives of our listeners. Our personal experience, the story we live through, makes us who we are today. Stories of overcome obstacles provide a dramatic act to the narrative we tell the world. Inspiring storytellers don't avoid the difficult parts of the arc, but rather embrace every step as an opportunity to transform, grow, and to make a deeply meaningful emotional connection with their audience. Thank you to listen.